Do you have the capability of resending Ed's?
Good evening. I'd like to call this regular meeting of the Show Low City Council to order. By roll call, see that all council members are present at this time. As we begin tonight's meeting, if we could just maybe have about a 30-second pause for those people in France and for their families, their friends, and those that have gone through the first responders there. If we could just take about 30 seconds, please. Thank you. It's one of those things that we hope we never have to encounter in our community. At this time, we'd like to begin, welcome those of you that are with us here tonight, and as well as those who may be watching at home or on some other media device. We welcome you as well. We'd like to begin and invite those who would like to join with us in a prayer. We've asked Councilmember Mike Alsop if he'd lead us in a prayer. Following the prayer, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. We've asked Bill Cupp to lead us in that. Would you please stand?
Our gracious Heavenly Father, we just thank you for the protection that you give us in this United States of America. We thank you for the protection that you give each one of us that live from coast to coast here in the United States. We thank you for coming together and being with the people of France. And we ask that they stand bold the way that they're standing, and we ask that we as the United States stand bold with them. We protect our land, and we protect the people that are fighting for it. And we ask that you protect us, and your grace and your mercy shine upon us in the United States. We ask this in your precious name. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First item we have is call to the public. Any citizen desiring to speak on a matter that's not on the schedule agenda at this time may do so. Please address your remarks to the council, and you have 3 minutes at that to do so. We've asked Mr. Terry Hill. This one.
Mr. Mayor, council members, well, first off, I'd like to thank you very much for your very inspiring address at the Veterans Day dinner at the Elks. We served 261 people.
It was a great night. Thank you.
Went through a lot of prime rib. I'd like to also let you know that next Thursday at the VFW, the post will be open to the community for Thanksgiving for those that are unable or not, or don't have, if they don't have family or friends to come, we're going to open up with a Thanksgiving dinner from 12 to 2. And so nobody gets confused on the time for the ceremony for Pearl Harbor Day, December 7th. It will be at 10:55. 10:55 because Hawaii is 3 hours difference. The Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor was at 7:55, December 7th, 1941. We will lay a wreath at the Veterans Memorial in commemoration. That's all I have, Mayor. And once again, thank you very much for being our keynote speaker for Veterans Day.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Anyone else on call to the public? Seeing no one else moved, I'll close call to the public and come back to our first item here. We have a special events. Recognition of Junior Leadership Academy for receiving Arizona Central for after-school excellence. Mr. Gil Alvarez.
I'm Alicia Phillips, and I'm with the NCDP. We're a drug-free community coalition. It was formerly Navajo County Drug Project. And this is Gil Avidris, who also works. And I'm going to let him share with us on the Junior Leadership Academy program that we have. And then we have a couple officers back there that would like to join us and come forward. That would be great. So I'm going to hand it over to Gil Avidris.
Mayor, Councilwomen, Councilmen, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak about a program that has been on the White Mountains for the last 10 years. It's a homegrown program that started to help our kids at Hope. And 10 years later, here we are. Have to admit, we've been quite successful. This last month, we were recognized by the Arizona Excellence Organization as the second best out-of-school program in the state. So when it started 10 years ago, we had some interns come in from Show Low, and they came in and they took on, they mentored, they started, developed the program as we saw it starting, and they came to Show Low and opened it up. And here today, we'd like to thank the city of Show Low and all your support, not only in the public school systems, but also in the business community. This program would not be successful if it wasn't for all the community coming together and helping support these kids at Hope. The primary purpose of the Hope, or the Junior Leadership Academy, is to establish self-esteem, self-confidence, self-awareness. And that is just not done by one individual. This year, we're looking at Judy Evans, who comes from Show Low Junior High. We're looking at Officer Brandon Clark and Officer Alan Rogers to help support with the assistance of grants to help mentor these kids into this program. And again, we're here to give thanks to all of you and all your tangents you have throughout the community and tremendous support. So thank you very much.
Thank you, and congratulations on your award. Appreciate that. Next item is the consent calendar. Look to council if there's anything they need to have pulled or discuss. Councilmember
I
Crittenden.
move we approve the consent calendar.
Okay, let me go through what's on the consent calendar first here. But we have a consideration of acceptance of construction of Show Low Heights, concrete maintenance and roadway improvements. We have consideration of the employment agreement with the city magistrate of Stephen Price. We have the consideration of the resolution number R201526 approving intergovernmental agreement with Navajo County for the snow removal and roadway maintenance. The retreat minutes of October 29, 2015, and our regular meeting minutes of November 3rd, 2015. We have a motion by Councilmember Crittenden and a second by Councilwoman Kakavas. Is there any other discussion? Councilmember Alsop.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to thank the crews that worked on the Show Low Heights construction of that. The roads turned out beautiful. I think the people in there, I've heard, is ecstatic about at least they're driving on smooth roads again. So I know you had some issues with some property stuff and with utilities and stuff like that, but I think you did a great job. So thank you for your work and making it for people to enjoy their subdivisions. Thank you.
I just want to echo there a little bit too. When we have a project that's about $1.6 million budget, and it was a project that wasn't just cut and dried of this is what we're doing and we get in and we do it. There's so many variables that happen on that project. And I think it took collaboration. It was neat to have people that were locally working on it because they care about our community and what it's going to look like in another 5, 10, 20, 30 years from now. And so it was a great effort by the contractor, his subcontractors that worked with him as well as with the city staff. Shane Hemasaw did a great job working with the contractor, and I just want to thank both of you guys, the city and the contractors and their subs as well, because it's a great project for what we can be proud of in keeping within budget. You come in with something like that, and we come in at 10,000 under budget when it's all said and done, and that's to be commendable. So, thank you. I'll call for the vote now. Make sure we get this thing approved, huh? All those in favor? Any opposed? See that pass 7-0. Thank you. Next item, we have new business, consideration of the abandonment of the reversion to acreage portion of Tract B of Tatanka Resort Casitas at Bison Ridge. Mr. Trugaskis.
Thank you, Mayor. On February 21st of 2006, the City Council approved the final plat for Tatanka Resort Casitas at Bison Ridge. This property is shown on the subject property map indicated before you. We do have an aerial map. This property is at the Bison Ridge property. A little bit of clarification as you're heading out of town on Clark Road, go past Fairway Park. This is the development that's on your left-hand side. So it's not the property that is located around or directly adjacent to the golf course. This plat was subsequently recorded in Navajo County. This development allowed for the construction of 8 buildings, each housing 8 condominiums for a total of, excuse me, that should say 9 buildings, each housing 8 condominiums for a total of 72 condominium units. Since that time, 2 buildings housing 16 condominiums have been constructed. The remaining 7 buildings proposed to house 56 condominiums were never constructed. The property owner has requested that the undeveloped portion of Tatanka Resort Casitas revert to acreage. This request is made in an effort to reduce maintenance fees and taxes on existing property and on the condominium owners. Any future development of this property would be required to comply with the underlying zoning, and resubmitting and approving preliminary development plans and final plats would also be required. No public roadways or utilities are affected by this request. Essentially what the property owner is requesting, they have 56 condominiums that are platted according to Navajo County. However, because the buildings were never constructed, these condominiums do not exist other than lines on a map. They're requesting to remove those lines from the map so that they would have a single piece of property rather than 56 plus the underlying property. Any future development would be required to comply with the underlying zoning for the property, which is PUD. So they would have to come back through the Planning and Zoning Commission as well as the City Council for approval for redevelopment. And I think that's it as far as information that I have, both myself as well as a representative of the property owner available for questions.
Councilmember Kelly.
Yes, I'm pretty sure I understand what's going on here, and I'm thinking that I'd like to clarify, maybe for others, and perhaps myself if I'm wrong, but in other words, if I say it this way, they would do away with all the benefit of the platted development, and one day when development occurs, have to come back and start from scratch.
That is correct, yes.
Fair? And in so doing, it would remove some tax burden, because the way it's platted, it would be taxed at a much higher rate than if it were just acreage.
That is my understanding again as well.
Okay. And so as long as everybody understands, when they come back, they're starting all over. They can't just walk in here and say, okay, now we're going to do what we had planned to do before. Why would any council in the future deny them? I have no idea. But the whole fact is they got to start from scratch.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Question. Any other questions, comments? I guess as this reverts to acreage, who is responsible for the upkeep and maintenance of that acreage so it maintains, somewhat of, like it's decent over there instead of just turning into brush?
I'm sorry.
No, and the next part of that was if this didn't revert back to the same way that it was, and I bought a condo over here and I looked at the master plan and thinking that there's going to be condominiums, do we have any risk or liability that if, say, that was built out into single-family homes when one of these homeowners thought it was always going to be condominiums?
First question, the underlying property owner would be responsible for the upkeep and maintenance of this property. The action that the council is taking tonight does not, through the city, relieve the property owner of any requirement to maintain that property. still needs to be taken care of. They still need to make sure that the weeds are taken care of, all of the general maintenance items that go along with that type of property. The underlying zoning for this property is PUD, planned unit development, with the portion here being shown as resort units. So as this property would develop in the future, they would be required to come back with something that complies with that description of a resort unit. It is possible that they could come back with something maybe potentially different than what these condominiums are currently. But it would have to be reviewed at the time that they apply. We would have the public meetings. Certainly, the current owners at the time would have the opportunity to voice any type of opinion they have regarding that development and whether or not it complies with the underlying requirements for the resort units.
Thank you. Councilmember Kelly, sorry.
Yeah, I'll take seconds. The street on the map that we're looking at here, it's not on the monitors, but it is simply not constructed, am I right? It wraps around them?
The street that is shown here on the aerial as Tatanka Loop, that is constructed. That's as you are driving on Clark Road and you look down in the wash
It
area.
is constructed.
That is constructed. It is a private tract. It's not a public road, and that is to be used for access as well as parking for proposed units in the future.
So chasing the same rabbit the mayor was after, maybe, but in a different light, it's been my experience on this council that as people went to lower density, that was more acceptable. Going to higher density was less acceptable. So I would anticipate if, say, developer came back in there later and wanted more units than were previously platted, that could be a real uphill battle. If they wanted less units, I'm found in the past that was very acceptable to the neighbors, less density. So that road is in place and it's a private road, is that what you're saying?
Yes, that is
And so
correct.
they will continue to have to maintain it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Councilmember Hatch.
I just had one question on that, Justin. We've seen sales brochures that presume that something will happen in the future and people acquired property based on what they supposed and saw in the sales brochure. And the developer is not going to continue to use anything showing these as condominiums in his current or in his going forward sales brochure so that we don't have a misunderstanding with the public there.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay.
So certainly, we can't speak for an individual realtor or an individual, what they may or may not represent as to a project. We certainly encourage people, if they have questions, particularly when there's vacant property next to where they are looking at purchasing, that they come in, look through the files and see really what is proposed for that so that they are not surprised in the future.
Yeah, I wanted to try and avoid the same thing that we got into with another developer.
Yes,
Similar.
understand.
Thank you.
And we apologize that this didn't really show well on the map on the screen tonight. If anybody has any questions, that please contact us at City Hall for that showing there too. Councilmember Crittenden.
I move to abandon and revert to acreage the undeveloped portion of Tract B, Tatanka Resort Casitas, more particularly described as AP numbers 309-84-109 through 136, 309-84-209 through 236, and a portion of AP number 309-84-998 indicated as Parcel A on Exhibit B, and authorize the mayor to sign the reversion to acreage survey.
Yeah, we have a motion, second by Vice Mayor. We now have it on the screen, kind of what we're talking about there. Is there any other discussion? Call for the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? See that pass 7-0. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chakaskis. Next item we have is consideration of resolution number R2015-27, amending the Show Low City Council norms of operation and code of ethics by adding an acknowledgement of receipt form. Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As we discussed at our city retreat just a few weeks ago, we're proposing that we amend our norms of operation and code of ethics by establishing an acknowledgement of receipt form. The code of ethics applies to all of our boards, commissions that are appointed by the council. And we feel it's important for when we do perhaps an oath of office for each one of those individuals that they also receive the code of ethics and norms of operation, and they acknowledge they've received it and understand it and read it and agree to abide by it. We went to a session at the league conference that kind of indicated this was a wise thing to do, and so we're recommending that we, by this resolution, the only change is that we would have this acknowledgement of receipt form for everybody to sign, that is the board or commission or the city council. So you can see that I think it's attached there as an attachment, what they would sign. And we would hope to do that when anybody's appointed in the future. As indicated, we would sit down with them and train them and show them the norms of operation.
You have any questions or comments, Councilmember Alsop?
Thank you, Mayor. Morgan, so you just said that anybody that's appointed to any boards, do I have to go through this too, or at least read it and sign it?
Yes.
Thank you. That's all. I just wanted to clarify that one there.
You got your planning and zoning, your airport board, your parks board, those things, board of adjustment.
Any other questions or comments? I'll look for a motion. Councilwoman Kakavas?
I move to adopt resolution number R 2015-27, amending the Shoal City Council norms of operation and code of ethics by adding an acknowledgement of receipt form to the document.
We have a motion. We have a second by Councilmember Alsop. Any other discussion? Call for the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? See that passed 7-0. Since there's something that's new, it might be good if we had a unanimous vote that maybe we as elected officers certainly currently serving might just want to sign that and set the example going forward. So I can bring that up to us. Next item we have is a summary of current events. Any council member wishing to share some current events may do so at this time. Councilmember Alsop.
Thank you, Mayor. I went to a lot of meetings this last 2 or 3 weeks. This is the time of the year where everything gets busy, and so let me start off with White Mountain Meals and Wheels is having a Thanksgiving dinner or lunch at on the November 25th at the Senior Center. It's from 11 to 2. There's 200 free meals that we're going to be giving away, but you need to call and make reservations so we can get everybody, maybe 50 at a time or 75 instead of all 200 at one time. There's not enough room for all 200. So if you can do us a favor and call the Meals and Wheels at 532-0656, that's 532-0656, and set up an appointment or a time for you to have that free Thanksgiving meal, we'd greatly appreciate it. But we're looking at giving away over 200 meals. So hopefully you're going to be on the first part and have that great piece of turkey instead of the last part where you might only get a little piece. But another thing is Meals and Wheels is getting ready to have their Christmas holiday open house. They're looking at getting some crafters in. They already have about 30 signed up. I haven't got a date right now, but I'll announce that in the next council meeting when that's going to happen. That's going to take place at the community Senior Center and White Mountain Meals and Wheels. The next thing is Main Street. We had our meeting last Thursday, and Farmers Market report from that is all you all know. This has been like our 5th or 6th year in the Farmers Market, and was an excellent year. Growth in that was just fantastic, and we're looking at just increasing that next year and having more produce and stuff in. And we just want to see that grow and grow. We're already taking numbers and money for the next year for their places that they want to have their different tables set at. Second thing is the recap of the Spooktacular Festival. We had a great turnout for that. We finally had a profit on that, so that the Main Street is looking great on that one there. They had a lot of fun time, And so they just want to make sure everybody had a great time, and they're going to keep on doing that next year for the Halloween. Next is December 5th is going to be the Christmas light parade and the Christmas tree lighting here at the City Hall. Things have been changed a little bit, so I want to make sure everybody understands that the parade's going to start at 6 o'clock, come down Main Street and turn on 9th and head up here to City Hall. And when they get to City Hall, all the floats are going to be sitting right here, and then we're going to do the Christmas tree lighting after the parade ends here at City Hall. And this year, Main Street got with the Gillespie family, and the Gillespie family is going to be talking to us a little bit and also turning the lights on. So please be there. It should be a great time. We're going to have a lot of Christmas carols and singing, and the lights are going to be going off to music again. And we're looking at a great time. But the parade route has changed a little bit, so please remember it's going to start at 6. Christmas tree lighting is going to be at 7. All the floats, everything will be right here at City Hall. I believe that's it. I got one more thing. And I think they're going to bring it up on the TV screen there. Main Street is starting off with Shop Small Saturday. It's a polka run. It's a new thing that we're starting off with Main Street to get all the small business involved in Main Street and have it open where people can come in and buy at downtown Main Street. We're also having a polka run to get prizes and stuff. And if you'd like to participate, and we have a lot of merchants that's already participating in it, but if you'd like to participate in more, please call North Star Business at 532-2680 and sign up and be a participant in this. But this is our first annual polka run and the first annual small business Saturday event in November 28th. And for all the small businesses. Thank you.
Give the phone number again.
The phone number again is 928-532-2680.
Thank you. Any other council members? Councilmember Kelly.
Yes, I would say that I want to mention how proud all of you could be of your mayor and the talk he gave at the Veterans Dinner. Now, I would say if he did a good job, I wouldn't say anything. I'm serious. He did a very, very good job, and I want to recognize you for that, Mayor. Thank you.
Any other council members? Just give a report here. Just want to thank everybody. We wish him a great Thanksgiving here coming up next Thursday. We won't meet between now and then, but just remember why we celebrate that and the great opportunity we have. The community fast officially ended on the 14th Sunday, but we'll still be accepting donations at the banks and at City Hall here. To date, we've raised a little over $9,000, and we encourage people in the community to continue to contribute to the end of the month. Also on the 22nd, this coming Sunday, we'll have a celebration of compassion at the auditorium at 6 p.m., where we'll have many different faith-based groups will be there. There'll be musicals. There'll be reports of what we've done the past year. So we encourage all citizens to come out and to support that on Sunday the 22nd. I was able to attend National League of Cities Convention in Nashville this past week, and some of the things that were talked about there, just highlight briefly some of the things that are happening is different communities are working real hard on getting more computers into the schools and into the hands of students where they're able to bring up their grade levels, and then those kids are going on to graduate and going into college, and they're finding that is being a big successful thing. One of the things that we need to work hard in our own community is trying to bring broadband and faster speeds of the internet in our communities, because that's what the millennials and the different organizations are looking for in businesses when they come in looking for an area is how fast is your speed that you have. Social media, Twitter, the millennials are the next biggest group. They've now surpassed the baby boomers. So they're a force to be reckoned with, but that's the demographics that we have to cater to. We have to reach out to them because our chairs are empty here, but they may be watching at home or some other way. So we've got to get better at how we reach out to the public. And one of the things that was interesting that I found was, we have our speed signs that we have that says slow down, and kind of give that. There was a group back there that they have a lot of data that they can read from those signs. Not that they're taking license plates or anything, but they are taking data So maybe from 8 to 10, 50 cars went by this place. And out of those 50, 30 of them were speeding and 20 of them were going below the speed limit. And it can tell you the proximity. So what can happen is we could have 4 of those located. The police can take that data and they say, well, we need to put a police officer over at this certain time because that's when the highest traffic volume, or maybe that's when we need to just patrol that area a little bit better. And then we can move those 4 units to another location and set those up. And we don't have to buy 20 of them. We just have to buy 4 or 5, and we can have bases set and we can move that. But it was a great presentation of how it could work effectively and at a cost effective too. But I was grateful for the opportunity. It was a great conference, and it's just fantastic what happened. I know we've talked about a convention center or something small, but we're not nowhere near the size of Nashville. But they have the largest convention center in the eastern United States. And 3 years ago, they completed it. It's over 2 million square feet. And since they've completed it, they now anticipate about 750,000 people moving into Nashville within the next 5 to 10 years. So, I mean, you build it, people will come. And so we work at that a little bit on a smaller scale here.
many people.
No, we don't want quite that many, but close. But I appreciate it. And again, thanks for all that you do and staff, and thanks for council members. And we'll have one more meeting this year, and it'll be great. So appreciate it. City manager.
Yeah, just a few events to report that haven't been reported already. The remainder of November is a busy month. The first is Saturday, this Saturday, November 21st, the Show Public Library hosts International Games Day from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can play a board game or borrow a game from the library's board game or video game collections. That's 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. this Saturday. Next Monday, November 23rd, celebrate National Family Night Out at the Family Aquatic Center with a free family swim and a raffle drawing from 6 to 8 p.m. And then the Family Aquatic Center will close beginning next Friday, November 27th for annual maintenance, and will reopen for regular business on Monday, December 14th. And then on Friday, November 27th, our holiday lights, on Friday or by Friday, November 27th, our holiday lights and decorations will turn on citywide for our annual Show Shines for the holidays, and will remain lit until January 3rd. Just one clarification, the parade route for the Christmas Light Parade will be the normal route, and it will go up to White Mountain Road, then come back and turn down Huning. Just wanted to clarify that. Councilman also talked about that parade route. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Just want to remind council members and the public, this is a public meeting this Thursday from 6 p.m. until about 8:30. We're having our first combined meeting with Pine Top Lakeside, City Council, as well as Snowflake Taylor and the county. So it will be a great meeting Thursday night from 6 to about 8:30. Councilmember Alston.
Yeah, I need to ask for seconds if I can. I forgot one other thing about the Santa and the shops at the Gingerbread Lane is going to be December 4th and 5th, and it's going to be held at the city campus gym, and the hours are going to be from 2 to 8 on Friday, December 4th, and 10 to 4 on Saturday, December 5th.
Great. All right, any other meetings that need to be scheduled or any other thing we need to discuss? Seeing nothing else, I'll adjourn this meeting.